So I'm up here at RC Madness out in Enfield, Connecticut. I just brought the Hobbywing Max 4 and the Easy Run brushless motor up here to get, well, for the ESC to get the QS8 connectors installed on it. Got a dual connection so I can run two 6S batteries for the raminator. So for anyone who hasn't been here, this is their outdoor track. Had a small snowstorm last night, so a little dusting on the track. Once I get the raminator put together, I'll bring it back up here, bash it around a bit. They got a little outdoor track over there. Huge store full of a lot of inventory. They got an indoor track, and then here's a drag strip. They also got a rock crawling course out back there, a drift track on the other side, and a nice rock crawling track on the inside. We got a bunch of parts in over the last month and a half. So I'll just go over everything, where I got it from, and see how far we get today. So I had this for a little over a year now, maybe a year and a half. I've had a whirlwind of problems with it over time and just kept fixing it as I went along. It's a bit of a mess from figuring everything out, but we're going to clean that all up with this new JCR kit. So for starters, this wiring harness, I need to upgrade this and get the V3 box. So I have the Fine Designs Racing brushless conversion. I bought it at the same time that I bought this truck. The gas motor, like everybody knows, is kind of crap. So I knew that from reading everyone's posts, so I went ahead and bought that at the same time. Servos, like everybody else, burnt them up right away, but upgraded them to NSDRC, and I've got the version 1 of the RS 2500. We got 2 for the steering, 1 for the brake. They work great. Haven't had any problems since I installed those. So after having the Fine Designs on 8S, I bumped it up to the Flyer. I believe this is a 16S. Yeah, capable of 16S. I've only got it to 12S right now, though. Works great. I just want to be able to control the brake and reverse directly from the ESC and the motor. So that's why I'm swapping it over to the JCR kit. So here's the JCR kit I bought from High Voltage, Dave Dalmas out in California. Great guy, very helpful. He helped me program the Flyer ESC. Without him, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it because there was a lot of stuff on the computer that I don't know how to do. I'm not very tech savvy with that stuff, but between him and my buddy Dan, you can check out his channel, Destruction Dan. The two of them managed to pull it off and get the thing programmed. So then I've got the Max 4 and the Hobbywing 560 kV motor, censored, all waterproof. I got that off of Amazon. The Bashing Gens A 6800s, I've ran those with the 12S Flyer. They work great. And I picked up dual shocks along with the reservoir piggybacks and the V3 shock setup for the dual shock conversion. So we'll be throwing all that on here, and hopefully this thing rips. So just a brief overview of what I already have done. I've got the JS body mounts, the extended wheelbase, again the Fine Design brushless conversion, Flyer ESC, NSDRC servos. I've got the upgraded steering shafts, the linkages, and the steering arm. Upgraded sway bar links, wheelie bar, and the top post. I seem to keep breaking these every time I run it without the body on. All right, let's dive into putting all the upgrades on. This is the ESC that came with the fine designs. Now I'm taking off the fan cooled radiator. It's a little PC fan. Pretty cool idea. So now that I got the ESC out of the way and the cooling fan, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the motor. We got that bolt there, and then one on each side right there. That'll go ahead and remove the housing for the clutch along with the motor. This is a cooling jacket that the water flows through to keep the motor cool. Next, we're gonna go ahead and remove the battery tray, the water pump, and the coolant reservoir. Okay, now that I got the Fine Designs brushless conversion out, I'm gonna go ahead and start installing the Johnny Crash Racing. So for the battery tray, seems like you gotta take the shock off. I guess we're gonna relocate it back to here. I'm not sure how that's gonna work having the wheelie bar on, but we'll find out. I'm not sure what side I should put these holes, but I'm gonna go ahead and put them sideways, just so I could have access pushing them this way. I don't believe I'll be able to get to them this way or this way. So hopefully that's the right way. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and take this cover off so we can get the slipper clutch housing, or whatever you want to call it, off. There's a major lack of grease in there and I don't have any right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this off in the near future. Put a lot more in there. It's pretty dirty as well, so that needs to be done. Luckily I have a hobby shop right down the street from me, probably like 2 minutes down the hill. They're more into the smaller RCs though. They don't have anything like this there. I think the largest thing they have is an X-Max, which they barely have those in stock. Last time I was there, they had one, maybe. So I may have to drive up to RC Madness again, which is about an hour drive from my house, but it's well worth it. It's a great place. So the shaft here has flat on 2 sides, and it's a size 8mm wrench. Go ahead and hold that so you could loosen the screw on the inside. So now that we got the motor and the chain cover bolted back up, we're gonna go ahead and remove this screw, that screw, that screw, that one, and same thing on this side. So we could go ahead and put the ESC tray in. So the supports are gonna mount in place where all those screws go. So I already went ahead and did the other side. Once you unbolt these, you got a spacer here. You're no longer gonna need that because this is gonna go ahead and take up that gap. With these pieces, there's a slot right here. Those are both gonna face inboard. I don't know if this is correct, but I figured it would be easier to put these in individually rather than fighting it all together as one assembly. So this is how you install the piggybacks onto the shocks. This is all the parts required to build them. So you start off by taking this piece here. Look close, you can see that these have a flare on it. You want to put both of them face in the middle. Put the fatter of the small O-rings on the long screw. Small one on the small screw. Small screw is the bleeder screw, goes right here. Take one of these, put it in here on the smaller side. Orange O-ring goes on the end cap. Long screw goes in the end. Leave it flush. This is the top side. This is the bottom. You can tell the difference by the extra threads. Take your last O-ring, put it over the top there. Now this piece, open end goes down. Take your time with that so you don't cut the O-ring on the housing of the piggyback. Flip it over, toss your spring in. Take this piece, drop it in. Make sure everything works right. Put this on. Tighten it all the way down. Push your plunger all the way down. If it stays, great. You could fill it all the way with fluid. If it doesn't, you're gonna have to adjust that using the bleeder screw. So that's one, set that aside. Go ahead and do the next. You can see as you're tightening this now, the screw comes out the other end. That's what presses against the plungers inside the piggyback, adjusting the pressures. Once you got both of those done, go ahead and pop the cap off of these. They're on pretty tight, especially if you got some oil on your hand from doing the other sets. One's pretty tight. So they come with 10 weight. I'm pouring that out and I'm bumping it up to 30 weight. Seems a lot of people have problems with the 10 weight leaking. Usually you can tell right away that the seals are bad though, because when the shocks are delivered, you'll see all the oil leaked out in the bags. None of mine were leaking, but I'm just gonna bump it up anyways. Then you take the cap off of the original shock, take that O-ring out, use this in the new cap. Go ahead and take your 30 weight. I got this from a local Can-Am dealership. Your hobby stores are only going to have smaller containers. Not too many are going to carry the larger ones unless you order it online. This is just fork oil that you get from any motorcycle or motocross store. top this all the way off. Take your new cap, thread it on. Take your piggyback, fill that up. Again, make sure the piston's all the way down. If not, you're gonna have to adjust that with your bleeder screw. And thread that in. And then go ahead and process it through, make sure it leaks, make sure it doesn't leak, make sure it functions good. Everything seems to work fine. There we go. There you have it. So if anybody was wondering, I've got 8 V3 shocks with 8 piggybacks, and it took less than 1 quart to fill. We're sitting around 300 milliliters left in 1 quart. I only had 2 piggybacks that the plungers would not stay down in, so I've only got to compensate for 2. So less than 1 quart to fill all of those. All right, here it is, all done. We got the JCR kit on it and the double shock setup. Got a little bit of an issue with the piggybacks hitting the sway bars, but we'll figure that out. Other than that, this thing runs mint. A lot of power. I love how I can control it. Brakes, reverse, all from the motor. Thing stops on a dime. Got brakes, reverse, all from the motor in the ESC. No more mechanical, no servos. Works great. I opted to not have the mechanical brakes just because I run it in a big open field all the time with not a lot of people around. So I don't really need the servo, the extra weight of that, or the battery, or the risk of running a lipo dry.